Hey everybody, this is John. You might know me as Jack Redshirt on the Portalville podcast series. I'd like to tell you about a special offer from our sponsor, Cocalero. When you go to shopcocalero.com and enter the coupon code PORTAL10, PORTAL10, at checkout, you can get 10% off your purchase of Cocalero Classico or Negro. And if that deal wasn't awesome enough, guess what? You always get free shipping on your purchase of 3 bottles or more. So go check out shopcocalero.com. All right. So, hey there, everyone. This is John. I produce the Portalville podcast. Jen can't be with us today. She has a prior engagement, but she is here in spirit. Joining me today is special guest, Rob Jabbaz, director of the upcoming Shudder original, The Sadness. So how's it going, Rob?
Good. Is it a Shudder original?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, fuck. I'm doing good, man.
So what can you tell us about the film, like without any spoilers? Like what can viewers expect and what is the story about?
It's like a gore movie, and it's about a virus that turns people into like maniacs, and then it's just following kind of the first. It's, I guess you could think about it as like a real time movie to some degree, because it's just like the first you know uh, little while of this sort of outbreak, and there's gore in it.
Oh yeah, and the gore is fabulous, by the way.
Thanks.
It's like super hyper realistic. I loved it.
Yeah, I think that that's actually, like, the term hyper realistic is actually really appropriate, because I think that there are some parts that are like sort of goes beyond realistic, where it becomes sort of like a hyper reality. Like I don't purport to say that the gore and the sadness is like, medically accurate at all times. There are some parts where that it go into sort of into maybe a fantasy area, but in any case, I'm happy that you are enjoying it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think like if you're a fan of other, like I would say zombie films, or like 28 Days Later or Wreck, like movies like that, like you really need to see this movie.
I've never even seen Wreck. Is that good?
It's pretty good. It's kind of like a found footage viral pandemic outbreak kind of movie.
Oh, cool. It's Spanish, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I remember. I never saw that one.
Okay, so I have a question, but I have a long-winded little story before I ask it. Okay. So
Oh, great. Okay, go ahead.
so when like the COVID pandemic started, I was working in Seattle, and everything kind of started breaking out to the news little by little, and we didn't really know what was going on. We're all just like, okay, what's going on? And then suddenly Seattle's like, okay, there's a stay-at-home order. No one can be out unless you have like military passes, right? To like show police if you're on the highway or out in public. So it's kind of surreal. And the place I worked at was doing jobs for like the military and NASA. And they're like, we don't care basically if there's a pandemic, you're coming to work. And they emailed us all these cards, official cards, to show like police officers or anybody if we were outside, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget driving to work and being like the only car on the highway in a
Wow,
pandemic, and there's like helicopter flying over, and it felt just like I was in a movie, like in a militarized zone. And I'm just thinking to myself, and I'm sure a lot of horror movie fans, scary movie fans, were probably thinking this to themselves too. But I was just like, man, this is how the zombie apocalypse starts. I'm like in a zombie apocalypse movie.
Mhm.
And it was really surreal. And I wanted to know, did the global events that were happening around the world kind of inspire your film?
Yeah. Yes. The but like not like, just you know, in Taiwan, the virus outbreak was handled like really, you know, well early on. So
Yeah.
that's why we were able to make the movie. So in fact, I didn't have those like a movie experiences that you had in Seattle there. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seemed like business as usual for us um, in Taiwan for the first like 14 months. I mean, like that's actually why we made the movie, because we knew that there probably wouldn't be any movies like the following year, because like new movies coming out, because nothing got made because Hollywood got shut down. So it's kind of like hedging, hedging our bets to have like a successful, uh, you know, premiere. And then, yeah, so I mean, but as far as like being inspired by by the pandemic, I mean, there's conversations in the film uh, that are conversations that I like. I actually was in Thailand when the pandemic was really starting, coming out of Wuhan and everything, and uh, I had a conversation with a French Canadian guy in the airport, and he was telling me that it's all just a hoax to drive down the stock market and all this stuff. And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. And then I just put that in the movie because I thought, oh, that's what a guy really thought. So I'll just steal it and put it in the movie because it'll make it more authentic. So I mean, just that's about as much as I um, was inspired. Like I just tried to kind of take little things that I was finding from people, uh, you know, stuff that people maybe had posted, and try to incorporate it a little bit into the film. More so about just kind of like, you know, how people were reacting to it. Not so much like these big, you know, World War Z sort of cinematic scenes, like the experience you had on the highway there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I seriously felt like I was in a scene straight out of The Walking Dead. Like if I was riding a horse down the highway, that's basically how I felt.
Yeah,
It was very surreal. And I was just
cool.
like, am I gonna get to work and my coworkers are gonna be like bleeding from the eyes and like rabid, like that kind of mentality.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck. You ever did you ever hear about how they gave Elvis like a special like cop badge, like Richard Nixon like gave him like a special cop badge, and he could just drive around and like pull people over, and he was entirely free from any kind of legal repercussions. Like he could just pull you over and you know, shake you down and do whatever he wanted, but he was protected by this badge that Richard Nixon gave him.
I have not heard that, but
Look it up. It's pretty cool.
yeah, that'd be memorable.
We just got this weird this badge that just gave him like a license to do whatever, literally like kind of whatever he wanted, and he used it to just drive around and cause trouble. But yeah, sorry, that's what I was thinking when you're out there driving your horse on the highway there all by yourself.
Oh man. So like we said, like the gore in this movie, I don't want to ruin it for everyone. We did screen the movie.
Mhm.
The gore is fantastic if you're into gore. My wife's not here to be on the call, but she wanted to know if you could tell us about your special effects crew.
Just a couple of plucky Taiwanese kids, Esther and Victor, and they have a little outfit called IFSFX Art Maker in Taipei, and they do, you know, just a lot of local productions. Not usually, you know, what's required of them isn't usually like at the level of what we saw in The Sadness. Usually, it's just like you know, a severed hand, or maybe some old age makeup, or maybe I don't know, like a sort of a ghost makeup or something, just like pale face with dark circles under the eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw some work that they had done for a fashion shoot or whatever, and I saw some really great you know, technical ability there. So I thought, oh yeah, these guys ought to be good. So I got in touch, and then I said, yeah, I want to work with you guys. And they were like, okay, cool, give us a call sometime. And then like literally like 2 weeks later, I was like, okay, I got a job. We're gonna do this movie called The Sadness. And they're like, oh, what the hell, really? And then I I thought that I could kind of just give them a lot of freedom to come up with their own stuff, but um, they actually don't. They didn't really. Sometimes people don't work well that way. Like sometimes it's a lot better to like give very very clear direction and very like sort of precise, detailed directions, and that's actually how I had to work with them. So there were a lot of drawings or a lot of plans. Everything that you see that's sort of a gore gag in The Sadness is is planned out by myself, and we kind of worked together as a team to figure out how to pull it off, and if we needed to incorporate a little bit of CG cleanup, or if something was going to be 50-50 CG and practical or whatever. That's basically it. They have a really good blood formula. It's not the usual Caro syrup one that you always hear about. All the horror bloggers or whatever podcasters always talk about like Caro syrup because I guess they heard it on YouTube or something. But
Yeah.
Their blood formula, I'm not even sure what it is, but it doesn't taste good. It's not like the sweet corn syrup one that you always hear about. It's like it tastes just like you shouldn't be drinking it, but
Yeah.
it's not toxic, and it tends to stain the skin if it stays on for too long. But it has a gorgeous color, so that's all that matters, because a couple stains on your skin will go away after a couple weeks, but cinema is forever.
And you actually brought up a good point. Like I was going to mention, there. I don't want to. Maybe it's a little bit of a spoiler, but like the scene in the subway car.
Yeah.
I'm like talking to my wife. I'm like, dude, whoever did like the gore and like the blood, I'm like, that blood looks like really realistic. That's like the best blood I think I've seen in a movie.
Thanks.
Like honestly.
I think that a little bit of, actually quite a fair amount of credit must be given to our colorist as well, because the film has a very very beautiful grade that was bestowed upon it by one Paul Hanrahan, a South African gentleman who lives here in Taipei. We had the honor of getting him on board to help us with the film, and he really brought out that wonderful vibrant blood, and also just the cast over the film. He really made the film feel, when the film feels hot, he's the guy who made it feel hot, and when the film feels like sweaty or uncomfortable or itchy, that color grade is what really makes that come forward. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have another question. I think we got some time here. Got about 7 minutes.
Like 10 minutes. No, go ahead.
Do you have any funny or bizarre or strange stories from the set of filming this?
Not really, no. Didn't have any time for that shit. We didn't have a lot of time. We just had to go and just do all this stuff. I don't know. Like, I mean, one time we had a sheet of breakaway glass that we had for something, and I thought just because I seen on YouTube or whatever, oh, they make that out of corn syrup, just like before what I said about the blood. So I tried to eat some of it, and it's like, oh, this is not this isn't candy. They call it candy glass, but it's not candy. It's not edible. So I tried to eat a thing that wasn't edible. Waka waka waka.
So don't eat fake blood and glass, is what you're saying to our listeners.
Just generally speaking, just don't try to keep as much as possible out of your mouth when you're making a
film. So you guys actually did film in Taiwan, though?
Yeah, of course. That's where I'm talking to you from right now. I'm in Taiwan.
Oh, cool, man. Are there any differences shooting over there as opposed to here? Or like any challenges associated? Anything?
I don't know. I've never made a film over there. I've only made a film here. I literally have no clue. I don't really know anything about. I don't know anything about this shit, man. I'm just trying to
Playing
make
jazz?
a movie out here, you know, just doing my thing. Just doing my thing, getting wild, you know.
Are you fluent in like Chinese or Mandarin?
Chinese and Mandarin. Yeah, no, yeah, Mandarin Chinese. Not really, no. Not I wouldn't say that I'm fluent at all. I think that my Chinese speaking ability is fairly bad, but you know, I'm able to do what I need to do. So I should probably make a commitment to you know what it is. It's like I keep thinking that I'm going to leave. You know, I keep thinking that it's like, oh, this is my last year, so it's probably not worth putting the time into getting better. But then then another year goes by, and I'm like, oh God, what am I doing? What the hell am I doing? Yeah, to answer your question, like I definitely am not fluent.
I
Hello?
expected you to like pull out some Chinese phrases for me.
Oh God, no, no worries. Sorry, man. Sorry to disappoint you on your
Uh,
podcast. This is where your wife should come in, and she could, you know, save the dead space there.
yeah. She usually has some kind of like witty, off the wall question. And I'm like, hey, maybe you should do the interview because you always come up with something like super clever and funny. But
How long have you two been together for?
we've been together about 15 years.
Holy smokes, that's
Like
true love right
dating,
there.
yeah.
So since date, how long have you been married for?
12.
Okay, cool. That's great. Like,
Yeah,
I
it'll
mean,
be 13 in June. So
awesome. It didn't take too long. You know, you spend a few years together, and you're like, this is the one. I'm gonna put a ring. That's great, man. That's true love. I'm very envious.
You don't have a special someone?
Oh no, of course I do, but I'm so nervous about making like the big commitment that I've been with my girl for longer than 3 years, and I'm still just kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I can take the plunge, you know. It seems so final because I only want to do it once, you know. Don't want to be one of those guys like Larry King who, like, you know, marries every single girl he fucks.
Well, you know what?
R.I.P. by the way.
Yeah, RIP.
Wonderful man. I love Larry King and all of his work and his contribution to journalism. But sorry, go on. I cut you off there.
No, I was going to say, you know, if I leave this in the interview when I put it on all the podcast stations, you might have a petition signed to have you propose.
Yeah. that would be something. That would be something. Cool.
Do you have any like socials or website people can follow you at?
Yeah, just follow me at like I'm the only person in the world whose name is Rob Jabbaz. So just like Google my name, or just go to, like, you know, my Instagram or whatever, or my Twitter, Rob Jabbaz, one word. Yeah, you just follow me, you know. Don't send me any DMs because I won't read them or answer them. But
Even about proposing.
oh yeah, well no, that one you're gonna have to. We can talk about that next time I'm on your podcast.
Okay.
When your wife's there, because I feel like it would be more appropriate if she was there.
She might put more pressure on you though.
That I'm willing to deal with that. I'm willing
Okay.
to weather that storm.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like we're almost out of time. Thank you, Rob. Everyone get your butts on Shudder and watch The Sadness. It premieres Thursday, May 12th. Go see it. It's amazing.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the time.
Yes, thank you for your time. And yeah, you're welcome on the show anytime you want.
Yes, sir. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.